Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Brelsford Family Homestead. I'm Darcy. This is day 10 of the Every Bit Counts challenge, and I'm starting in the garden because I have some oregano to harvest. I already cut this down to very low earlier this season and blessed a bunch of friends with it, but now it's time for me. But we have to get it from underneath this loofah. So I'm gonna cut this and we're gonna put it on my drying rack and let that dry naturally. And then we'll go back to the kitchen and blend up the zucchini flour. I joined both batches from day 8 and 9 into one jar, and we'll see how much it yields when it's ground. Well, let's see here. This loofah is absolutely insane. I grew cucumbers on this trellis last year, and I grew a lot more of them because my daughter planted and overplanted. I left them all. I got this hog panel trellis, it yielded over 100 pounds of cucumbers. Awesome. I'm not being careful how I'm cutting this. I'm just going at it. I'm trying not to include any of these loofah runners. My goodness. Well, got any recipes that include oregano? If you're local, do you want some? This is awesome. We'll put this inside in the drying rack and we'll get going on that zucchini flour. It smells great. I harvested one more thing. It was quite the surprise. Elderberries. This is my first year growing them, and actually they've been completely neglected. I had a bunch of cuttings sent from a friend, and I planted them in mineral tubs to take root. I'll put a video of that up here. And then they never got moved because of different physical challenges I had this year. And they're producing fruit. I cut these because obviously the birds were getting to them. There's a couple more that still have some green berries, so I need to look that up. I think I need to leave them. Hopefully the birds don't eat all the ripe ones, but we'll put these in the freezer. Here's my drying rack. I filled 2 of those with the oregano, and I have some chamomile up on the top. All right, let's make the zucchini flour. I'm just going to put it into my blender. So what's your guess of how much flour this will produce? How far on the jar? Let's see. When you do this, definitely let it set and settle. Sorry, I gotta plug in my blender because the dust will just be like everywhere. If you make large quantities of this and you don't intend to use it very often, you may want to store it, in an airtight container, but in the freezer just for longevity. Well, I dropped a little bit, but it's on the counter. We'll get that in there. I'll show you. The blender looks full. Looks can be deceiving. All right, here we go. All right, I'll let that settle for a second here, but you do want that to be really fine since you are using this as a flour substitute. You don't want any big chunks of zucchini in there. Are we safe? I'm gonna just open, see that? let's pour it into our jar. Don't look, what was your guess? Oh man. Ready? Goodness. That is 1 cup? Yes, that's 1 cup. So that's a lot of time in the dehydrator. Thankfully, it's not a lot of hands-on time. But this is my reasoning for not using a lot of zucchini flour because of all the effort and time. But because my child will eat it, I will do this and I will make some more. So that's going to be it for today, which is day 10. See you back for day 11 tomorrow. Changed my mind, I came back. I decided I did not think it was fine enough. So I took what was in there and put it in the coffee grinder. That is much better. That's the kind of consistency I want to use it as a flour substitute. So still 1 cup. Oh, I'm gonna store this in a different jar. See you tomorrow. Hi everybody, welcome back to day 12. Alexa, what's today?
It's Sunday, August 11th. Up next,
Okay.
would you like to wind down to relaxing
No.
sounds?
No. Welcome back everybody to day 11. I had to ask what day it was. Today is Sunday. Happy Sunday. I've had my nap. Coming to you, sponsored by Nap Hair. So I'm gonna sort through these. When I took them out of the bags and put them in this jar, I don't know if I sorted them, and I find rocks and things in my beans all the time, so don't skip that step. So I'm not gonna have you watch the whole thing. Oh, hold on. Technical difficulties here. I like to use a baking sheet to pour them out on. It just makes it very easy. To just spread them out, pick through them quickly, take out any that look kind of weird, and if you find any rocks, to take those out. So I will come back and show you if I do find any rocks. But I'm gonna take out like these broken pieces. I'm not even sure that that is actually a chickpea. So I'm gonna go through all of these, and that is what we're going to do for today. So I'm just gonna wash these, and I don't actually need to core them. I was doing that before, but because these will go through my squeezo, that is an unnecessary step. But I will cut off any part that doesn't look like something that I want to keep. So let's get that started. And I got some freezer Ziplocs, I guess because it's back to school time. If you belong to Costco, they have a really great deal on all types of Ziplocs if you need some. This is what I have. This is what I have that I'm gonna rinse and cut to put in the freezer today. Some of the others I want them to ripen a little bit longer, and I may collect some more when I go back to my garden. I discovered some yellow striped armyworms on 1 or 2 of my plants back there, so I go pick them off and put them in soapy water. Have you ever dealt with those? I never have, so I'm not very happy about it. So once I get these all bagged up, I'll show you what is left. Here's what I got to put in the freezer. See you tomorrow. Hi everybody, welcome back for day 12 of the Every Bit Counts Challenge. This morning I was out watering the garden and harvested a few things, so I'll show you what those are because we are going to be preserving them today, so I'll insert that here. Watering the garden and harvested a few things. This seems to be a perfect picture of Every Bit Counts. There's chamomile, elderberry, banana peppers, and a few cucamelons. I think that's it. Well, here's what I harvested today. These will go on the drying mat, not very much. These are gonna go in the freezers with the other elderberry. These I'm going to pickle, and these. I'm gonna try poking these with a toothpick. Somebody suggested that. And then we'll still get to our other things for today. I will go back out to the garden and harvest some more cucamelons because I forgot yesterday I discovered another volunteer plant where I had been looking for them, but I hadn't seen any, and I saw fruit. So I need to go down there and grab them and join them with these. I've already got these washed, as well as the peppers. I've got 2 jars ready. This is gonna be really small, but we're going to preserve them. And I just have peppercorns, a bay leaf, and a garlic clove in there. And then I have some apple cider vinegar and water here with some salt. We're gonna bring that to a boil and put those on there. But first we're gonna take care of these beans. I am doing the quick soak method. I already sorted these yesterday, as you saw, and I've washed these. And I have water boiling on the stove, so I need to put that on here and boil this for a few minutes, and it has to sit. While it's sitting, we'll take care of these things. I just have these in my Dutch oven, but I will separate these into 2 pots when we do the next step, just because it's not enough room once they start expanding. I'm waiting for the beans to come to a boil. They have to boil for 2 minutes and then they sit for an hour. I change out the water and all of that. So if you're wondering what method I'm using, it is for the beans from the National Center for Home Food Preservation. You can buy their book, or you can access all of these things online for free at the National Center for Home Food Preservation.org or com. I'll put the link in the description below. I have purchased their book and was kind of disappointed to find that some of the things I really wanted wasn't in there. So I print them out, and I have a section of one of my books that I keep my recipes in that is for preserving when it's like pickling these things for refrigerator, and I have canning recipes for things like the beans. So those are almost to a boil. I've got the brine heating up so we can do this. So let's poke some holes with a toothpick in our cucamelon. I guess I'll just poke it all the way through. One like that. Should I do more? Maybe I'll do twice, especially on these ones that are so big. All right, I'll do all these and not make you watch me do. If you see what I'm doing, I'm poking through all the way through one side to the other, and then I was turning it and poking it through the other way. I don't know that that's necessary, but that's what I'm gonna do. Some of these are a lot bigger than others. All right. I'll finish that in a minute. Let me show you what I'm gonna do with these peppers. If they're whole, these are pretty big, so I'm not going to leave them whole. What I would normally do is just take my knife and make a slit, probably 1 inch or 2 long on a couple places so the brine can get inside. So maybe I'll do that with this small one here. I will kind of trim this a little bit, and then I'll stick that in there. They're so big, and I want to cut off whatever that spot is. I will slice them, so I'll show you that when I'm done as well. I only found a few more, but hey, every bit counts, right? I was surprised to see a lot more vines than I was originally thinking were there. They're entwined with my grape. So soon, I'm sure we will be overloaded with cucamelons. My main arch with them, I did a harvest. I think I shared preserving those, and then it was just really, really hot and dry, so they weren't flowering, but they're flowering again. So go ahead, I poked holes in those already, so whatever, it's a half a jar. They will be good. So let's fill these up. This brine, let me read it to you off of my recipe. I did reduce it, so you just keep the things the same. 2 cups of water, 2 cups of vinegar. This is apple cider. You could use white. 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, 1 to 2 bay leaves, 3 garlic cloves, and a half a tablespoon of black peppercorns. So I just scaled it down for what I have here. Actually, I need to pick some of those peppers out of there and put them in with those cucamelons. Give those a little kick. What do you think? Maybe a lot, since there's not very many cucamelons in there. That's okay. I'm just gonna put a lid on these and then they'll go in the fridge. I will attempt to wait a few days to try them. I really want to try these right now. Put these in the fridge. I'll need to drain, rinse, and put fresh water and boil those beans here in a few minutes. But I wanted to make up a batch of Thai sweet chili sauce that I like to use for dipping lumpia in, or in my stir fry, which I am making for dinner tonight. And I guess I should have recorded it because math is hard. I don't know. I was looking at my measuring cup. So I meant to do a 4 times batch and accidentally added some things for 7 times. So this is another reason to have certain staple items in stock in your pantry for when you make mistakes like this. But it's good. That just means more made at once. So I have this mixed up here. I need to bring it to a boil. Let me read you the ingredients. It's called Best Sweet Chili Sauce. I can try to put a link below if you're interested in it. It's got rice vinegar, water, sugar, rice wine, sambal oelek, or red chili flakes, minced garlic. I haven't put the garlic in. Got to get that. Minced ginger, soy sauce, and then you need to use some cornstarch or whatever thickening agent, what do you call that, arrowroot powder or something like that. So let me get the garlic. I'm glad I didn't leave that out. I'll bring it to a boil. And what I do with this is, I'll take some out to use in our stir fry tonight, but I put it in like jelly sized jars and I freeze it. And that's like a good amount for my family anyway, for if we were going to use it as a dipping sauce, or if I'm going to pour it into my stir fry. It'll thaw out really fast, especially if you just put the little jar in some water. And I don't have a recipe for something like this that is for canning, so I freeze it. So now we'll have seven meals worth. So let me get to that garlic. Sorry about the dishwasher in the background. I need to let it finish because I keep turning it off or pausing it to do this, and then I forget to turn it back on. So I got the garlic in here. I'm gonna put it on the stove here and get it up to a boil. Once it has reached a boil, then we stir in the cornstarch water or arrowroot mixture and let it thicken up, and then I'll just put it to the side until I do some other things with dinner, and then we'll put them in the jelly jars to put in the freezer. I need to drain these beans and then boil them again, so I'm gonna get doing that. I did split the beans up into 2 pots. Well, I guess you can't see. I wanted to make sure they were completely covered with water because they are absorbing water as they were sitting there. So I'm going to drain this all off, cover them completely again, and boil them for 30 minutes. Here is the sauce and the consistency. I wish you could smell and taste this because it is delicious. This is the last jar to go in the canner. I'll get these going and they will process for 90 minutes. I have some more to jar up, but I'll do those in another canner in just a little bit. I'm gonna finish up some dinner stuff. I will show you how many jars we got once I'm completely done canning. I'm all done canning the beans. My second canner has not come completely down from pressure yet. It's an older one, so it takes a long time. There was 4 quarts and 1 pint in there and 7 quarts in the other one. So those are going to be great to use throughout the year for hummus. I'm sure I'll do some more at another time. And then there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these. I filled them to a little bit below where the threads start so that I won't have any problem with expansion when they freeze, since these are all going in the freezer. So that's gonna do it for me today, and we'll be back tomorrow for day 13. See you then. Hi everybody, welcome back for day 13 of the Every Bit Counts Challenge. Today We're gonna be dealing with these crookneck squash. My favorite way to eat these is actually just sauteed with some onions and sausage and served over rice. But I don't have any sausage right now. I'm growing some in the back field though. So we're gonna cut these up kind of in triangles, not too small, and then I'm gonna dehydrate them. And what I really like to do with those is in the wintertime, I make a stew and I put a couple handfuls of it in there, and it's really good and it makes use of this. So I'm gonna get these all cut up and put on the dehydrator. This time I'll be putting it directly on the rack versus how we did it for making zucchini flour. So I don't want to make it too small. So if this part is too, the diameter is too small, then just cut it in half. If I do that in a triangle, once it dehydrates, it may fall through. So we'll just cut it depending on the size of that part of the squash. So I have I'm gonna cut up all 4 of these like that and then lay them on the dehydrator tray, and I'll show you how much I get when I'm all done. This is our pile here. This is what it got me. I usually lay these out all neat and tidy on here, but guess what? Let's try it this way and see if it's any different. I don't think it will be. Okay, that's 3 trays worth ready for the dehydrator, and that's going to be it for me for today for day 13. We'll be back with day 14. Thanks for watching. God bless. I got a few more elderberries. There's a couple bunches left, but they're green, so I will leave them. Hi everybody, we're back for day 14 of the Every Bit Counts challenge, and today we are going to make balsamic onion jam. This has been on my list for quite some time to make out of this book. So today we're going to do that. I have some onions that I grew this year that are they're not going to store a long time because they're sweet onions and maybe trying to sprout. So it'll be a perfect thing to make with that. And I'm really looking forward to trying it on some of our pork once we have that this fall. So the first thing I'm going to do is get 2 pounds of diced onions together. I ordered a really cool chopper, but it won't be here till Monday. So I have a fry slicer thing. I'm just gonna see if this works. If not, it might make it quick work of it, or I'll just cut it with my knife. So let's see if it works. All right, we'll try it on one of these little guys first. Hey, it works. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get these 2 pounds diced and then we'll bring you back. I thought I was gonna have serious waterworks from preparing these. I just tingled a little bit. I turned my vent on and I was okay. So I'm happy about that. So we just need to put most of the ingredients in this Dutch oven and cook it for, I think 15 minutes. Let me double check. Yes, and then we'll add pectin and then jar it up. This is gonna be pretty quick and simple. So I did have to get some apple juice to make this. So there is another jam recipe that we'll be making maybe tomorrow, but very soon, so I can use up the rest of that apple juice. So let's get these all combined. this already smells so good, but of course I love balsamic vinegar anyway. So I'm gonna get this on the stove. This is a ball recipe, so it does call for their low or no sugar pectin, so I'll be using that. And this is my apple juice, but I'm gonna show you what I did. Do you guys have to do this? Since I'm gonna use this for another recipe, I gotta put do not drink because I'm gonna put this in the fridge. And I have a husband and 2 children who'll be like, woo, apple juice. This is what it is looking like. I need to add the sugar and the pectin now, or sorry, the apple juice and pectin, and bring it to a full rolling boil. Sorry, you missed some of the action. I had a low battery. I've already got 3 of the jars filled with the onion jam. It looks and smells amazing. I'm sure there'll be a little taste for us to taste it. Let me show you what I'm doing here. Like most jams, and that's too full for sure. It's a 1/4 inch headspace. That skin. Off. Put the lid and a ring. I'm guessing I'll have one more jar here. That's what it looks like. Let's see. There's 4 in the canner. The recipe said about 5 of these, so I think I'll probably have a little extra to put in a jar in the fridge. What do you think? It'll make a whole nother jar, but I always have 1 extra jar just in case. And these jars are hot. I had them in my dishwasher, ran. They were keeping, it was on the dry cycle, so they're good and hot. Okay. You see where my paper towel went? There we go. I'll go ahead and finish this up. Whatever's left, we will taste test together. I gotta double check my timing. I think it said 15 minutes, but I think that might be a little much. I need to double check before we start it. I've got that on. It is indeed 15 minutes. This is how much onion jam was left over. I am having a get together with some people on Saturday, and we're having burgers. I think I'll bring this, so see if anybody wants to top their burger with it, but let's give it a little taste. That's good. I don't know what I was expecting. Yeah. That's good. It's a little spicy peppery from that white pepper. That is very good. I think I'm gonna have to make another batch of that. Oh, now I gotta get my biscuits out of the oven. You wanna see them? Multitasking here, trying to make dinner. Canning season, people still wanna eat. These are delicious. I have a video on them that I will stick right here if you'd like to make them. I will bring you back when those are ready to come out of the canner. The jam has a little bit longer. I'll give that another taste test, and I thought, let's bring you along for it. Guys, I wish I had like smell-o-vision, taste-o-vision. Never would I thought ever that I would eat something like this and think it was this delicious. My husband said he did not eat onions, didn't like onions when we got married. He eats them all the time now. And of course, I put him in things and he had no idea. And I loved it, so. I'm going to get him to try this. Wow. I think I better bring a full jar at least to my get-together. Cheers. These are all done. As usual, I will let them sit for 12 to 24 hours. Then I will take the bands off, check the seal, wash them, put a sticker on them, and put them in the pantry. I appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you back tomorrow for day 15, I think it is. Thanks for watching. Hi everybody, welcome back to day 15 of the Every Bit Counts Challenge. Today I have got some ginger that I peeled. I had this for way too long and it was getting really dry. I mean, there's some that got wasted, but I'm going to dehydrate this and make it into ginger powder. I have a lot of ginger growing out in the garden, so if I needed fresh, I could just go out there and get it. And I should probably grate some of that when I harvest it to make powder too, so I don't waste some like that. And I also have this colander full of paste tomatoes that I'm going to just cut any parts off that I don't want and put in the freezer so that we can make a big batch of sauce once all of my tomatoes are ready. My tomatoes out back are all paste and they got planted a little bit late and there's lots of fruit, but they're not coming in hard yet for me to make a lot of sauce. So I'm just freezing them. I did take somebody's suggestion and I am sitting down on a stool. It's a little awkward because there's not like a big overhang on the counter here. There is on the other side, so I may have to play around with filming over there so it's more comfortable or whatever. So I'm just gonna cut these up. Tomorrow I have some dear friends who are missionaries coming into town, and so they'll be here for a few days. So I may be not participating those days, just one, give myself a little rest. I'm going to be busy cooking and fellowshipping with them, but also just so I can be fully present and not have to think about it. If there's something small and I have the time to take out the camera and take some pictures, I will, but otherwise I might be missing a couple days on the next video. I intend to edit this one and get it out for you hopefully tomorrow morning. And so I really appreciate that you guys have been watching these and commenting and saying so many nice things. Some people have shared some really good ideas for using some of my ground turkey and things like that. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you watching these. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these cut up. I'm guessing they'll all fit in this gallon size bag, but I'll show you when I'm done. I'm undecided on how I'm doing this ginger. It's not very much, so it seems kind of a waste to run my dehydrator. And some of this, I'll be honest, I peeled it like yesterday or the day before, like these 3 chunks, and they're, I mean, they still have moisture, but they're pretty dry. So I might just see about air drying and let it sit here for a couple of days, and then if I feel like there's still moisture in them, then finish them out in the dehydrator. What do you think? Should I do that? Thumbs up? No? All right, I'll be back in a minute. This is what we got for the freezer. When making sauce, it takes a ton of tomatoes. So this is not going to equal much, but every bit counts. And soon I will be swimming in tomatoes and it will be wonderful. I really, really need to make a lot of sauce. My youngest daughter has decided that she will only eat either my sauce or my pastor's sauce. Don't be bringing anybody else's sauce or store-bought, so I need a lot of sauce tomatoes. I'll just leave this sitting out for right now, but I did want to share this with you. I think I've shown it before, and there is a link to it on Amazon in the description, but this is a strawberry and tomato core. When doing sauce and putting tomatoes through a food mill, it's not necessary, but if you're canning other types of tomatoes, you do need to core them. This works great. I think I paid $2 at Rural King a couple years ago. It's probably more than that now, but it is super handy. I actually have a couple of them, so when I have helpers in the kitchen, they have one too. So I appreciate you guys watching. All the comments and things have been great. I appreciate you sharing recipes. I will be back soon with another video and more food preservation. Until next time, God bless.